Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this The Hindu analysis video. In the morning these videos come, in the evening the MCQ lessons they come. Yesterday's MCQ lesson was not there, so it will be uploaded today due to some emergency conditions that could not be uploaded. So these two lessons, hardly 1 hour it will take, and it's important preparation for current affairs on a daily basis. 25th of July it is, and please follow these lessons religiously. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play, and the Hindi updation is also there. And regarding these courses, description is given below the video. You can find the link there, you can find the numbers there, and you can call on these numbers. You can visit the website section where the chat section is available. So regarding these courses, you can get all the information. PDF you will get here on this group, and you will also get the Telegram's link, my Telegram's link, and you can follow me on Instagram too. And this is the Telegram channel's link. Regarding StudyIQ's Telegram channel link, we all know about that, and you get all these PDFs on a daily basis regarding all the courses, regarding all the issues. So these are the words that I found today, and please use more and more verbal phrases and these idioms. They are very important. Now some articles are important. In this article, Jagdish Ratnani, he talks about a particular angle in this population control issue, because the kind of force from the government's side, or maybe some minister's side, or maybe some particular group's side, that is going in a way, and they call it a population explosion, but the economic survey says that India is going towards a population decline. So within 2 decades we will balance all these things out. So these are contrary opinions. One opinion says, the political opinion says that population explosion is going on, and because of that our growth is not there. So it's a kind of a denial for these responsibilities, and in a way they are just giving an excuse for their low performance. You must say this, because when the economic survey says that in next 2 decades we will maintain these things and we are going towards a decline, in the southern states the situation is like that the replacement rate is not achieved, means the fertility rate is less than 2, means not even the replacement rate. So they have maintained the issue, and in the last 20 years they have balanced this particular thing. So southern states are very much advantageous in this situation, and whatever these people are saying, including some people who have some influence on the masses, like Baba Ramdev, and a particular minister, he also tweeted regarding this population explosion, and they say that the third child should not be given any voting right or something like that. So in a way, with this very sensitive and huge issue, with this excuse, they are targeting some people here, and they know that where the population explosion is population growth is more. So due to that reason, some things are being said. You see, first reality, first general understanding, and the basic thing is that population is a major problem, but only for today. It is not for always. Problem is that we are not able to manage the present population effectively, and things are becoming so stressful that the corruption problem, the non-execution of some plans, and mismanagement, efficiency issues, capacity issues, and budget allocation issues. Due to all these factors, some things are not manageable, although many welfare schemes are running, but things are not perfectly manageable. So that is the reason that in this stressful stage we are giving these excuses. Otherwise, at the same time, why I'm saying that these things are excuses, because at the same time we are talking about the demographic dividend, and we are boasting and thumping our chest a lot about this on all the platforms, on the all international platforms. We only talk about the demographic dividend issue, but what we are doing for that is much more important. Here writer says that the image that all the problems are emanating from population explosion is so ingrained in the minds of the people that it does not take much to whip up public sentiment, which in turn can quickly degenerate into a deep class or religious conflict. Today the social shift is too intensive, means people are targeting the minorities, the weaker sections and all, and the way they have killed many people, tying with the poles and all, and these cow vigilantism, all these issues are apparent in our society, and these things are unique in a sense and uniquely dangerous and unprecedented, because before that, after independence, we never heard of these kind of things, that people are getting killed by the mob, and mob is taking so drastic steps that it looks like there is no law and order, and there is no action on these people. That's the bizarre thing about that. So that is why any kind of ingrained thought, any kind of misconception, any kind of confusion, any kind of frustration in the people's mind, that can result into any kind of drastic situation. So that's why we should not propose this kind of things, and we should not exploit people's mind in this way, because already a particular thing is spread on social media that Muslims, they are going towards a major population boom, and they will outnumber Hindus and all, and they will attack us. All these nonsense things are going on, and these are not true. Although the population growth is more in Muslims population, but it is nowhere like that, because Muslims are hardly 15 to 20% in India, and Hindus are huge in number. So you cannot say in this situation, because we have evidences, we have reports, we have observations that our populations are towards a decline, because already the economic situation is like that everything is too expensive. So the population is having this question that how we are going to survive. So this question is there with every mind, and you see the reason is different. The population boom explosion is for some different reasons, and the main reason is the poverty. Here writer is proving that why we should not move towards these kind of notions, and why we should not introduce the public with these kind of immature thoughts. Why? Because the consequences can be dire. You see, they say that discrimination would be there, and they will target some people. Physical attacks will be there. Social prejudice, that is totally prevalent and apparent, and this is the insidious way of tackling the things. And people are taking law in their hands, and they are not restrained in any way. So that's why we need to go for some specific reasons here. Poverty is the biggest reason here. Even national population policy, when that came in 2000 year, when Vajpayee ji was there as prime minister, even at that time when the population boom was going in its peak phase, so even at that time we said that target free approach we would adopt. We would not go far, we would not go like China, where one child policy was mandatorily executed. We did not go for that, and we said that family planning is important thing, and it's a voluntary thing. So family planning program in India is target free and voluntary in nature, and it is prerogative of the clients to choose a family planning method best suited to them as per their reproductive right. So it's a supportive way. It never says, it does not mean anyway that go for population growth and go for 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. It never says that, because it is automatically understood. But where people do not understand, the reason is poverty. And how it is true, you see, poor tend to have more children because child survival is low, son preference remains high. So these are the real reasons. In the want of a son, they go for 5, 6, 7 births till the time they did not get a son. So that's the big reason. It is not the reason that they are going for some kind of planning or something like that, that people start targeting these people. So the poor, they have insecurities, they have economic insecurities. They think that more the sons we will have, and more they will support the family. Maybe this will not be true in the future, but that's apparent that regressive thinking persists, and that's the bigger reason. And Family Health Survey 4, 15-16 was the year when it was done, because it was the 4th survey. It was introduced in 1990s, and 4th survey 15-16, and we have the latest data with 16 year. So they say that lowest wealth quintile have an average of 1.6 more kids than women in the highest wealth quintile. Means poverty is the big reason. Poor people, their fertility rate means 15 to 49. A woman, how many children she gives birth to? So if she gives 3, then the fertility rate is 3. If she gives 4, then fertility rate is 4. So for poor people it is around 3.2, and for rich class it is just 1.7, means just double. So the insecurity is the reason, the regressive thinking is the reason. But why? Because you see, there are so intensive levels of poverty in this country that these people are psychologically incapable of accepting any kind of planning or something like that. You see, this thing is for real. You go to the most backward villages of UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, MP, and you will see the condition that you make them understand, you try to make them understand regarding any planning, regarding any scheme, regarding any issues of life, regarding any understanding of the life. They do not understand because their mental development is not there, and they have been living life in these superstitions, and dependencies are there, and they are just hand to mouth. So you cannot make them understand anything. That's the reason, big reason. And they are not properly developed as a human being, you must say, because it's an unfortunate situation that their malnutrition levels, their brain development issues, their education levels, health levels, basic lifestyle levels, they are so unsupported in a way, and extreme level of poverty, they have made these people like this, and this is so unfortunate. So they are in that vicious cycle that they cannot understand anything, and that those social ingrained thoughts like we should have a son, we should have a more and more number of sons, so that we will have some security. So these things only are working for them. So that's why we need to pull them out from that vicious cycle, and then only we can make them understand something. And before that, if we start punishing these people, like you will not have any voting right, you will not have any the scheme support, and you will not get the food security, anything like that, then it is a bigger danger for their lives. And in a way, we are intentionally devastating their lives. So we need to work on poverty first. Then we can talk about the population growth, because already we are towards a decline, that is for sure. We have reports for that. And in 23 states of this country, the population is towards a decline from now, and means the growth is towards a decline, and we will manage the situation within 2 decades. So that is the case. So always we talk about population explosion, but we should look at this reality also. Means the bigger responsibility is to manage the poverty first. And if we can manage the poverty, then it is apparent that when the education levels are high, basic health facilities are high, and awareness is high, then automatically at least they will come to a basic level where extreme level of poverty will not be there, and they would be able to come out of that isolation, and they will understand about the family planning issue. And this has a proof that where education levels were around 10 to 12th class standard, if those women were this much educated, then they never go for more than 2 kids. There are evidences 2, 3, maximum 3. So that means the education level, health level, these kind of supports, basic supports, they help people to get out of the poverty. And due to this exclusion from the coming out from the poverty, that supports the family planning issue, and this is how we can manage the population growth. So that's the better way. It is not a good way to talk about this isolation and stripping of their all the basic support systems, and taking of their voting rights and all. This is all regressive, and this is all political and intensively targeting people, and it will have major consequences in the society. So that is the case. Okay, and the major issue of demographic dividend, that will also be realized only when we will manage poverty situation and these basic issues. But the biggest obstacle in this achievement, what is that? That obstacle is that we need to take big steps today, and it will take time, 10, 15, 20 years time it will take at least, and then the situation will be drastically improved. But who will take these steps? These governments, every time when they come, they have insecurities. Means 4-5 years later we will have elections. Who is going to give us votes if some things are not visible? So they only go for visible changes. They will implement those schemes which are visibly working. If they invest money in education, health, and these skilling and all, then these will give result, and real results in 15 to 20 years. So it will take time. But today they go for only simple schemes like PM Kisan Yojana, Income Support Scheme Yojana, which puts a lot of economic pressure, and they are not very much supportive. They are not bringing any structural changes. So if we need structural changes, if we need the end of the poverty, and if we need the proper management of the population growth, then we need to go for big time reforms and investment in these basic sectors. But we are not able to do that. Health sector, around 1% budget. So what you can expect out of that? And why it is? Because they have political insecurities. So that's the reason. Okay, so this is important for GS paper 1 and 2 and essay topic. It's a very important essay topic. You may write that. You can write a mains question on that also. Next, shifting target, shifting strategic concerns. Here it is giving a particular angle. Like in the last article, we have a particular angle towards a population growth, a popular opinion. Here again, a popular opinion in the Indo-Pakistan relation, and there is a particular specific angle to that. What is that? Means the leverage, geopolitical and economical leverage that India and Pakistan have. Means both countries have their unique situations, and normally we are talking about Pakistan's bad situation, that economy is so bad that they are just on the brink of a crisis, and no one is supporting them, and they are heavily insulted like that. But it is not 100% true. Although this jab recently came when Trump said that Modi ji approached him for this mediation, and it is the highest level of offensive thing for India, because we have maintained this thing for decades that we do not need mediation here. This is a bilateral issue, and anybody proposing this mediation would be a big time culprit there. And here it is our Prime Minister who is being alleged, but we are denying that. So it's a very disturbing issue, and how it is going to be settled we do not know. But when we talk about the situation, then we talk on real issues and about the real situations. They have a unique complex geopolitical situation here, and America wants its influence, but for that it needs a respectable exit from Afghanistan, a respectable exit from Syria, and it needs some local support there. And governments are not able to do that. Means Afghan government is not able to do that. So Taliban support they are seeking, but for Taliban they need to talk now to Pakistan. Just 1.5 years back, they stopped all these economic support to Pakistan, and all these things happened. We all know about that. So after that, they again started talking to Pakistan, because the key of Taliban is there with Pakistan. So that's the main reason that again and again they come to Pakistan, and Pakistan gets this leverage there, and it is never out of the picture. Once we discussed on our mainstream media that Pakistan is getting no support from there, it is all insulted everywhere. But this is not the real situation. It has its own leverages. CPEC is going through Pakistan, so China has its need that economic security would be there, some strategic security should be there from this region. If this area becomes unstable, then it's not good for CPEC. So China has its own particular concerns, and that's why it wants a stable Pakistan. America has a stable this need to have a stabilized Pakistan. Why? Because Pakistan only can control these Haqqani network, Taliban issues and all, and it can be a nice mediator there. And America knows about that. So that's the reason that they had forged a military alliance in 1950s with Pakistan. If you know the history, then it's totally apparent that they have a need for Pakistan, and that's why they were supporting it economically, so that it keeps a check on these groups, and through Pakistan, America has some kind of a dominance in this region. But that is destabilized, and that's why they stopped this support. But now again, they know that they cannot do it without Pakistan. So that's the reason. And here again and again, it went towards Pakistan. And you see the series of events. Pakistan, we demanded that bring Pakistan on the blacklist of FATF, but it was not done. And we said that IMF is not going to support Pakistan, but ultimately it gave the IMF support, financial support there. All the conditions are there, but it gave some support. And there was a acute economic crisis in Pakistan, but anyhow they are handling the issue. The Middle East countries, they are also with Pakistan, so we cannot say that Pakistan is just out of the picture and it has nothing in its hand. Although the situation is not good, but it is not like that we are posing in our country through the mainstream media. This is not the real situation. It has its own leverages, and that's why we have a good political situation in this country, and we have a emboldened position politically. Government has majority and they can go for big decisions. So that is the positivity from our side. Pakistan has its own positivities because the US and Pakistan unique situation with Pakistan. With the US, Pakistan and China, Pakistan. So that unique situation. So that leverage it has, and it never goes away. So that is the reason that maybe these countries do not want, but they have this need, and that's why they need a stabilized Pakistan there. And different reasons. America attempts always that it is able to use India against China. But that's not so simple, because we are a huge country, we are a very powerful country now. But Pakistan is a clear tool for America. If it gives money to Pakistan, then Pakistan is ready to be used. That is for sure. And main issue is this blackmailing through these militant groups and all, Haqqani Network, Taliban and all. And America is not able to contain them because America is not a local player there. It needs some local support, and that local support is Pakistan. So that is the reason. So again and again we feel that there is no support for Pakistan, but it's still there, and it's obscure but still very real. So we need to be very careful about that. And now the question of mediation. We know that it's a very offensive thing to talk about mediation from Indian side, but the writer says that if it is going to be a possibility in the future, we should not rule out that. If it is going to be a possibility, then it should be only to assist in the region, so that the Pakistan's proxy war is ended in Kashmir and the area becomes peaceful. And once the area becomes peaceful, then we should go for the next step. And what kind of next step? The kind of step which was taken during the Indira Gandhi's time in 1972, when this Simla negotiations happened and Simla Accord was signed. So that kind of step we need today, but for that the peaceful condition should be there. So if we go for some third party mediation, if things are not manageable, then certainly this should be only limited for this proxy wars ending. That's the case. And maybe the mainstream media, they do not highlight the importance of 1972 situation, but that was very much in favor of India, and we had this leverage there. So that's why we need to go on real terms, and these nonsensical social media campaigning in India, in this media, the nonsensical debates which go on all the times, they should be stopped, and we should work more on our capabilities. We should show that we have our own control in these disturbed regions, mainly in the Kashmir, in the line of control issues, and we need to reserve the option for more ambitious punitive strikes like these surgical strikes and all, in response to major terrorist attacks on our military targets. So we need to show that we have major capacities. So we need an overhaul of our intelligence situation, and we need to have a total control on these situations, and we need to show that, so that when internationally this thing is being discussed, then they will have this reason that India's position is very strong there, and they will be more in favor of India, less in favor of Pakistan. And once they are less in favor of Pakistan, then Pakistan will be debilitated because it has nothing of its own. So that at that day we can control the situation very easily, and we can have Pakistan to sign anything at that time. But for that, these leverages, they should be maintained by India, and they will be maintained when we will show our capacities. Today many vulnerabilities we have, and human rights issues also we have in the region. So we need some robust steps there. Today it's all hanging. Kashmir's situation is hanging, and that's why nobody can say that India's side is very strong there, because we are struggling a lot there. We are losing also our soldiers on daily basis, and Kashmir is not in our hand. People are against us, against the state, and a religious anger is also there. So that's the reason that we need to be very much realistic in these terms, and we need to have this image that we are very strong in our position, and then only we can contain Pakistan there. Otherwise, this hidden support for Pakistan will be there always. Okay, and in the Afghan situation also we need to be very much active, and in the Taliban process also we need to be a stakeholder. If we are isolated in these issues, then certainly we are out of the picture, and nobody will see the case of a dominant position for India. So that's the thing. So this is all for this article, and important for GS paper 2 mainly. Okay. Next, regarding Sri Lanka's a unique example. Sri Lanka is the 4th country in Asian region which has got this status that it has eliminated the measles disease. It's a virus-based disease, viral disease, and vaccine preventable disease (VPD). UPSC may ask you that which in the list which are the vaccine preventable disease. They will put all these names like tuberculosis and measles and diphtheria. You know, measles and diphtheria, these are the vaccine preventable disease, but tuberculosis is in comparison to these two is not that. Although vaccine was there, DPT vaccine is there. For tuberculosis vaccine can be there, but we have seen many examples that it is not that much effective. So that's the case. So many trials are also going on for many viral diseases like Ebola trials are going on in the Malawi country. The malaria vaccine trials are going on. So they may ask you about these recent details. But in this case, when there is a resurgence of this infection in 49 countries in in world, they are having major cases, more than 1.5 lakh cases, and 100 deaths. It's a major concern. And in some European countries also we have these cases. Means these are some things to be concerned for, because developed countries, but 100 deaths, it's a big issue. And why this happened? Because vaccination, it's a kind of a process when they need to maintain some continuity, and they need to contain the virus, and it is not very easy to contain the virus. Why it is a situation where a small country like Sri Lanka was able to contain that, and many countries they are not able to contain. The reason lies in the approach, Sri Lanka's approach. You see, there are 2 doses of this vaccine, and in both these phases Sri Lanka went for above 95% of the coverage. But for other countries globally, on an average, for the first phase 85% coverage, and second phase only 67% coverage. And that is the reason that some pockets were left out, and where the virus was prevailing, and when this vaccination was not proper, because some supply chain issues were there, supplies were not proper, and that's why these isolated and left out groups, they gave a favorable position for the virus, and it persisted, and it became very much resistant to this vaccination, and the vaccination were not effective. You see, when these polio campaigns are going on in India, then many times they give these doses so that virus is not able to research, and it is not getting any capacity against the vaccination, and vaccination is successful, it is effective. So it needs to be effective, but it was not effective globally, but it was effective in Sri Lanka, because they went for above 95% of coverage, and they never left out any people's group. So that's the example they need to apply in all these areas. Otherwise it's a major problem, and once the vaccine fails in some region, it's a big concern for whole world, because vaccines they should be effective, they must be effective, otherwise they will fail. It just like the AMR issue, antimicrobial resistance issue, because the effectivity issue, vaccines are having some regions, like in polio many issues are there, and they are changing some courses like oral polio vaccines, and all these IPV vaccines issues are there in front of us. So it's a very sensitive issue, and consistently challenges we have, bacterial disease and viral disease. In both these cases we have challenges. So Sri Lanka is a good example, and in the case of polio also we have made this thing possible, and we have achieved a target, and we are a polio free nation today, because we had this will, and we showed this will, and we executed that will. So that will we need to show in cases of TB, HIV, also in the cases of non-communicable disease also, but that will is not visible the way we showed it in polio case. So all countries should learn from Sri Lanka here, and that's the example here. The Chennai's article, which is there today for water harvesting and all, you should read for yourself, because it is all based on the data and all, and not much to explain here. But these issues are important, and this is an important topic for GS paper 1 and 3, mainly 3 and 2 also, because the policy execution is also important here. Next, Moon has got its maneuver and the Chandrayaan has its maneuver and first orbital boost it has got. In GTO, it was established. What is GTO? Geo transfer orbit. Geosynchronous transfer orbit. Why? It's somewhere in the middle, because directly it is not approaching the Moon. It will move like that, and then it will be there at a position where it will enter into Moon's orbit, and it will keep rotating around it, and then it will keep a revolution around it, not rotating, revolution around it, and ultimately it will approach the Moon, and on 20th of August it will be on the surface of the Moon, hopefully, and 14th of August when it will enter the orbit of the Moon. So that's the case, and you see they are controlling it from ISTRAC. So they may ask you about ISTRAC, ISRO Telemetry Tracking Command Network. Where it is there in Peenya, Bengaluru. So that is the important detail for prelims examination. Other details are much talked, and we have repeated them many times. Regarding ICMR, a new move to aid data collection. Data collection is a big problem in India today, because the data sometimes they are not efficient, they are not perfect, they are not true sometimes, and collection issues are there. So for this problem, they are bringing a particular move, and ICMR, NIMS, these two institutions, they are going for this, and NDQF, National Data Quality Forum. Okay, what it is going to do, it will establish protocols and good practices for data collection, storage, use and dissemination that can be applied to health and demographic data. So this is said by ICMR. Regarding ICMR, you can read that it was started in 1911 as IRFA, Indian Research Fund Association, and then in 1949 it became ICMR. It is presided over by Union Health Minister. So these details are important, and it has many other facilities. It has its own labs and all, and research institutes, 30 permanent research institutes in various regions of this country. And regarding these specific diseases and infections, it is taking steps. And some unique like Hendigodu syndrome, which was found in Karnataka villages, and it is doing the research for this also. So they may ask you the specific details regarding some institutions. Sometimes UPSC go for that. Regarding RTI issue, Wajahat Habibullah, the first CIC of this country, he also raises concerns. He says that it will not be effective if they are pushing for this issue in the present form, and they have passed this issue in Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha also. If it is passed, then forget about this institution. It will not be effective anymore, because when I was there, he said that I was there, we used to issue directions to the secretaries also, and they were complying, because our body was very much robust. We had security of tenure, but it will not be there if they are going to be dependent on central government's rulings and directions. Then certainly they will be under pressure, and this will be a yes man body for sure. And first aim of Information Commission was to give the right to citizens, that जानने का अधिकार, जानने का हक means right to know, but that will not be realized any further, because the security of tenure would not be there, and they are changing these norms, and the condition would be there with central government, power would be there with the central government. So this is not good, and many experts are raising concerns against this issue. Additional thing is that they are not going for major security scrutinies. This thing is not well discussed in a Lok Sabha and the other house also. So it is happening with many sensitive issues, like the UAPA Act, that is again passed as an amendment bill, and that was also not scrutinized much, and concerns are there, because they can target people through that, and with this UAPA bill, they can declare any person as terrorist. So although we cannot say that they will go for any person, but there can be some mismanagements, and there can be some innocent people who are not the real targets, and they can be targeted. So scrutiny is important. Main issue is of the scrutiny. Why it is not being there? That's the issue. Next, sugar mills. They are going for a bigger buffer this year, and they are saying that we will build 4 million ton buffer. And FRP, the fair and remunerative price. You see, one is MSP and one is FRP. MSP is more than the market rate. Okay, minimum support price, that is more than the market rate, but FRP is not more than that. It's just a fair and remunerative price, and that is decided by the ministry there. And Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs there. CCEA goes for these final issues regarding the payments and regarding the prices and all. CACP suggests that, but Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, they take final decisions. So it has taken 2 decisions, and these are welcomed by sugar industry. Regarding this FRP, they have maintained the same levels, and they are going for bigger buffers now. Estimates suggest that the country will produce 32.95 million tons of sugar in the current marketing year, and this is against the annual domestic demand of just 26 million, means additional 7 million tons would be there. So they are going for bigger buffer now, and it will support farmers also and sugar industries also. So that's the case. So many details will come, because these are very complex issues and many problems are attached with that. So that is all, and we'll take additional things in the questioning. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sani.